What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to the Diablo 4 Research Institution. I am your host, Professor Ice Stack. Appreciate you guys coming by. Like the video if you will, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the page and hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And blessings to my channel members and my patrons. May you have many wives. Links in the description below. So, in this video, I'm going to showcase some of my Druid. He is now level 49. Goes by the name of Mr. Thicket. And I actually just completed the campaign. I defeated Lilith on my first try. I didn't use a single extract from a legendary item aspect, or an aspect from the dungeons. I never imprinted any of my items with them. So I thought it was quite an achievement. And I did beat it on World Tier 1 though, so maybe it's not all that special. Let me know in the comments below if you think that's special or not, alright? But nonetheless, I have a couple uniques on this guy, or one unique that I found from Lilith, and apparently I think everyone gets this, called Mother's Embrace, a unique ring. Where if a core skill hits 5 or more enemies, 25% of the resource cost is refunded. So that sounds quite nice. In fact, I think it's a synergy along with this item that I found. No, this is something different. Totemic Staff of Retaliation. Your core skills deal up to 40% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. But nonetheless, it's not all that cool. But in this video, I wanted to showcase Hurricane, because Hurricane is a skill from Diablo 2 that the Druid had. Only the thing is, in Diablo 4, it seems to be quite a bit different. It's not really centered around its damage, to my understanding. And this one, as you can see, is actually ranked 7 out of 5. So I just now maxed it out. And pretty sure it wasn't worth it. But I did it for research purposes, and I'll probably go back to only having one hard point into it once this video is over. So Hurricane I use for reasons other than the damage. But here's what it does. It's a Wrath, Storm, Nature, Magic skill. Currently, its cooldown with my gear mods is 18.96 seconds. And with some skill mods, I believe, help reduce cooldown, things like that. Lucky hit chance 23%. Form a hurricane around you that deals 1,516 to 1,853 damage to surrounding enemies over 8 seconds. So it's not all that much damage per second. It's about 200 damage per second right now, and that's totally maxed out. And then I have a few modifiers. Enemies who are damaged by Hurricane are slowed by 25% for 2 seconds. And then, Hurricane has a 15% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. So the other option from that one would be the Savage Hurricane, where enemies affected by Hurricane deal 20% less damage, which is a nice one as well. But my build is centered around making enemies vulnerable. So here's how long it lasts. Let's cast it a second. And remember in Diablo 2, Hurricane was just something that you would always have active. It'd last like a minute or something, and then you just cast it again. We're talking later in the game. Now, I'm not exactly later in the game, but I did max the thing out, and I have some cooldown on gear. So, you run out of it, and then in my case, I still have to wait, how many seconds? 10 seconds. So let's see how much damage it does to basic enemies. It's a nice ice dungeon that I selected here. It's convenient how the dungeons do level up with you. There are, however, things in the game that are a set level, like Diablo 2. How Diablo 2 was. So let's see how this does against basic enemies. Oh, some variety in this dungeon. Some climbing and shit. Okay, where's an enemy? Come on. Where's an enemy? Here we go. Oh my god. Oh my god, these are plain enemies. Holy shit. It sucks. Yeah, unfortunately, I do have it on World Tier 2, however. That might be part of the problem here. Okay. Okay, so it can still kill shit. But you see how often it makes them vulnerable? And that's quite key. Because making enemies vulnerable is how this build of mine regenerates spirit. Let's cast it again. Cast a protective skill. Jeez, look at this. Okay, so it doesn't do all that much. It helps a little bit. Here's some Cataclysm. Really nice skill. Really pleased with that skill. It doesn't like wipe the whole screen, but it does help. It gives you a nice boost. So yeah, I really like casting that Cataclysm every opportunity I get. If there's a swarm of enemies around me, or if I'm fighting a boss. It probably misses a lot when there are less enemies on screen, because it is kind of chaotic. But I would like to compare it to like Grizzly Rage, for example. And I have many items that benefit Grizzly Rage, so I'll probably will spec into that and make some videos on that. But yeah, as you can see, Hurricane, is it worth it is kind of the question. You could, of course, put many other skills in this position, and I did max this thing out, and I have +2 to Hurricane on my gear as well. But the reason I like it is because of the fact that with this mod, Natural Hurricane, it has a 15% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. And I want to make them vulnerable because of this key passive that I have on this character. Perfect Storm, where storm skills that you cast grant 1 spirit and deal 15% increased damage when damaging a vulnerable, immobilized, or slowed enemy. So the thing is, if you're starting off as a caster druid, and my experience as well has been with the melee droid that I tried in the beta, the Werebear pulverized droid, your struggle is your maintaining of spirit, alright? The druid really sucks big you-know-what at the beginning in terms of spirit regeneration, because your spirit does not regenerate on its own, and your really good skills tend to cost a lot of spirit. So that's why this is such a good key passive right here, because you're the more enemies that are around you, basically, the more enemies you can make vulnerable with your skills, and then with that, the more spirit you regenerate. So let me get a bit of a horde here. Oh, this is just a greed shrine, so I'll take that. It's not really a lot right here, but maybe I'll get a couple more enemies on screen. So we'll get the Hurricane going. Just look at my spirit. See my spirit? Hell yeah! It does a pretty good job at staying up. And here's Cataclysm now. But yeah, I have been using Hurricane this entire game. Maybe it's one of those skills I want to switch out. But I'm not sure if there's anything else that's going to be making enemies vulnerable like what Hurricane is doing. It doesn't have a massive AoE, but the benefit is when you're Storm Druid, like my character, and you're using the up-close melee spirit generator, like this right here, which is called Storm Strike, then you have to get up in their vicinity while you're regenerating spirit from your hits. And when you have Hurricane on, it's a great synergy, because you have to get up in their grill. Whereas if you were a druid that was using Wind Shear, rather, a range skill, it wouldn't be as applicable, because you're not intending to get up in their grill. You know what I'm saying? So there might be a different route to go if you are a non-melee Storm hybrid druid like what I am. This weapon actually gives a lot more damage than my current one, but I do miss out on your core skills deal up to 40% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. And throughout my skills and passives here, I do have some that grant me Fortify while in combat, so it might be something I want to keep. But let me know if you guys have any experience using Hurricane, or what are your thoughts on it. I think it should maybe have slightly more AoE, and slightly more damage for that matter. But it's not bad where it's at, and I do look forward to experiencing this build later in the game, where maybe through Paragon and gear, I could perhaps reduce the cooldown even more of Hurricane to perhaps have it up all the time, instead of waiting 10 seconds to cast it like what I have to do now. And maybe there are ways you can modify it. Make it larger, make it do more damage, or whatever. So I actually did find a legendary totem that makes it gain damage as it, the longer its duration progresses, it gains more damage. But it just really wasn't worth it, because again, I'm not really using it for its damage. But with that being said, I'm going to take the skills out of this now, and I'm going to put them back into my Lightning Storm skill. And there we go. So appreciate you guys for watching the video. Like the video once again if you will. Don't like it twice, just like it once. But subscribe to the damn page. Hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And more videos to come. Peace be with you.